class. My name is Ms. Davina Basu, and for HFLE today, we'll be looking at conflict. And our subtopic for today is dealing effectively with conflict. Alright, by the end of this class, everybody should be able to tell me what is a conflict. They should be able to list different types of conflict and tell me some factors that cause conflict correctly, as well as some strategies to help cope with conflict or like you can handle conflict. Alright? Alright, so today we will be having a class discussion. It's mostly you working together. Alright, so there are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 of you. And I would like 3 groups. So 4 of you are designated to one group. There's 4 of you, group 1, the 4 at the back, group 2, and the group right here, group 3. Alright? So kindly group yourself quickly. Alright. So I have 3 pieces of paper here, and I would like all the groups to have one. Alright, so here's the instruction. Listen carefully. Alright, so in your own words, you're going to tell me what you think is a conflict. You could just jot it down, or you could write a sentence, anything what you think is a conflict. Now that you've all finished, we're going to discuss what group 1 has. Okay, so group 1 has a conflict is a fight between 2 or more persons. Alright, very good try. Group 2 has a conflict is an argument. Alright, very good. Group 3 has a conflict is when two people disagree on a certain topic. Alright, you're all correct. Now, I'm going to give you a definition that we have as conflict. Alright, so here on the board, I have 2 definitions of what a conflict could be. Alright, so it says, what is a conflict? Now, a conflict is a serious disagreement or argument between 2 or more persons. So, I think it was group 1 said that it was a disagreement between 2 or more persons, and you're correct. Now, another definition we have is a conflict is when a person is faced with difficult or complex situation or issue. Alright? So, a disagreement, it could be a difficult situation, it could be an issue, anything of this sort. Alright?
I will be continuing from where Miss left off. My name is Ms. Krishna Prasad, and this morning I will be looking at the types of conflict. Now, before we go into the types of conflict, Ms. explained what is a conflict, and I'm sure somebody could tell me it. Right? Can somebody please stand and tell me what is a conflict? Okay. Thank you, Joshua. Yes, that is correct. So now, to go into this topic, we are looking at the types of conflict. And for number 1, we have man versus man. Now, can somebody else please stand and tell me what they think man versus man is? What kind of conflict that is, or what comes to mind? Jenny? Okay, yes, that is partially correct. Okay. So, man versus man conflict is basically an argument or disagreement between 2 persons. This is an internal conflict. It doesn't have to be physical, but it could be an argument. This is basically, for example, say you're having a disagreement with your classmate, or you're arguing with your partner, or it could be a robbery also. This could be a man versus man conflict. It's basically where more than one person is having a disagreement or a fight, but it doesn't have to be a physical something. It could be in form of an argument as well. 2, we're going to have man versus self, or man versus himself. Victoria, can you please stand and tell me what is man versus self conflict, or what you think that is? Okay. Yes, but not actually that. We're not getting to that. But okay, good try. So man versus self or man versus himself is basically an argument within one's mind. For example, let's say, okay, for number three we have man versus nature. Now, when you hear the word nature, what comes to mind? What do you think of when you hear the word nature? Leslie, what do you think when you hear the word nature? Okay, so man versus nature is basically you having difficulties or experiencing, um, let's say, the wonders of nature or the strange things that we don't know about. Let's use, for example, right? You're going on a school tour and the entire class is going on a tour and one of the students fell overboard and the water is very rough and the boat is swaying from side to side. The waves are just rough and coming heavy, right? And the student is overboard. That is a conflict between the students and the waves. That is basically the student trying to survive the swim. It's man versus nature. Last but not least, we have man versus society. Now, what is society? First of all, what does the term society mean? What do we call society? Nicholas, can you please stand and tell me what do you think the word society means? Or what is man versus society? Okay, thank you. You can say. Man versus society is basically man or oneself trying to debate or trying to fit in into something. This could be like a religious something, segregation, or like racist. Let's say, for example, you're Chinese and you're moving to a country that is, let's say, for example, you're a female. And when you finish school, you want to go be a soldier and join the army. But then your parents are probably elders on the streets or others in society, meaning around you, encouraging you and telling you that's a man's job. Only males do soldiers and army. And now you want to do that very bad. That's your desire and your determination. So now you're debating with society that, okay, I won't be judged if I join the army or if I be a soldier. That's what you want to do, but society wants you to do something. Probably a teacher as a female or a doctor or a nurse. That is basically man versus society. Okay, I'm now going to hand you over to Miss, who will be explaining to you some factors that create conflicts.
Alright, so I'm back again and we will be discussing some factors that create conflict. Now I want you to tell me what you think are some factors or some things that causes problems. Nicholas, what do you think? Alright, very good. You could say we could count that as communication problem, right? Alright, the next one. Anybody else? Let's pick Victoria. What do you think else can cause a conflict? Alright, differences in person. Alright, let's say that as personality difference. What else? Think of any other. Let's take one more. Relationship problems. Very good. Or relationship conflicts. Alright, so communication problem is like you're not communicating good or like expressing your views or So communication problem is like you're not being honest to each other, or you're not open, or you don't know how to relate certain situations. So that could cause a conflict because you're not clear. The next one we have personality differences. As we all know, everybody here is different in our own way and unique as well. So we may not be, um, let's say, agreement on a certain topic. We will have disagreement. So because we have different personality, that could cause a conflict. Relationship conflict. This is like boyfriend and girlfriend situation. Sometimes when you boyfriend talk to another girl, you're vexed, so that could cause a conflict. Which in the boy is just innocent, that is his cousin or something like that, right? So, and these are not the only types of conflict. There are a lot more, and there are much more factors that create conflict. But these are just the common ones that we'll be looking at. The next step are some strategies that we can use to help with dealing with conflict. All right? 8. Agree to work it out. What it stands for? Agree to work it out. 3. Point of view. Or get the point of view. S. Solve the problem. What does S stand for? Solve the problem. Now let's say one of your classmates has a sharpener that looks like yours. Now instead of going to the colleague and quarreling, you could go nicely, calm yourself down, go nicely, ask, is that your sharpener or is it mine? Because I lost my sharpener. Now, if the person says that no, that is his sharpener, alright, you say alright, you go, you start in your bag, that's solving the problem. You go back, you start in your bag, and maybe if you find it there, now the problem is solved. So instead of going rationally to your colleague, you try to go calmly, calm yourself, agree to work it out, get the point of view of the person, and resolve the problem. You get back your sharpener. Alright? So there are more strategies for handling conflict, and I will list them on the board. Alright, so on the board I have some other strategies for handling conflict. The first one is walking away. Now when you're faced with a situation, you walk away from it. Like if you're in a problem, you walk away from it. Avoid physical action. So when you walk away, you won't have to fight, or you don't have to be in a tussle or anything. Using kind words. Instead of going rash to a person or going with all anger, you go nicely, you go kind, you use kind words. And talk quietly. It's the same as using kind words, alright? You go nicely to the person, you say what you need. If the person can help you, they will be willing to help you. But if you go rash to somebody, who wouldn't want to listen to you, right? Refrain from teasing. So if you're in a problem, avoid teasing the person. Learning to compromise. Now, if one situation does not work for you, you have to learn to compromise and make another situation, or like find solutions there. All right. Now we have a little activity for you to do. Ms. Vishmita will be reading a story for you, and we would like you to identify the conflict, identify the types of conflict in that story, and also identify the solution to the conflict. Alright? So listen carefully, and this will read the story for you.
The name of our story is entitled Exam 1. The rain was pouring heavily, and a boy by the name of Roy was getting ready for school. He has a national grade 6 exam currently at age 15. The name of our story is entitled Exam 1. The rain was pouring heavily, and Roy was getting ready for school. He is going to write his National Grade 6 assessment. It's currently 8:15 in the morning, and his exam starts at 9 a.m. From home to school, it takes 15 minutes by car. His father already left for work. He has a baby brother named Sam. While preparing for school, Roy heard a loud noise downstairs. He immediately ran to see his mother at the bottom of the stairs, unconscious and blood spilled everywhere. Standing there all confused, his baby brother started to cry and he was getting late for his exams. Roy then quickly ran to his neighbor, Miss Patsy, for help. She came over and while she was helping him with his mother, he called his aunt and his uncle. His uncle then helped his mother into the car while Miss Patsy, the neighbor, took care of baby Sam. On their way to the hospital, Uncle Jim dropped Roy to school, which was currently in 5th. Exams were 9. His aunt then called his father, who would be going to the hospital. So, I want each group to give me at least 1 or 2 conflicts that was mentioned in the story and a resolution to how it was solved. So, at the end of the class, I'm going to collect all the papers. You're going to head up neatly on a paper, write the group number and each member of the group, and you're going to write your conflict and resolution on the paper. As for that, next class, each group is going to plan a role play, and you will be acting out one strategy for handling conflict. You're going to choose one of the following here and show how it is portrayed in your role play, how you handle a conflict. Any topic of your choice, but remember you should be using one of these strategies here, showing how you handle the conflict. So now, close all books, fold our arms and sit back. Let's do a recap. Who could tell me what is a conflict from group 2? Renee, please stand and tell me what is a conflict. Okay, yes, it's an argument. Yes, but it doesn't have to be physical. Okay. Okay, who could tell me what are the types of conflict and give me an example of the type listed? Group 1. Okay. Yes, nature would be like, yes, that is correct. Okay. Okay, great. Now, for some strategies, I want group 3 to stand and explain one of the strategies on the board and how that will be used, how that will be beneficial to a conflict, for handling conflict. Nicholas, please stand. Okay, when you're walking away, yes. Very good. Like Nicholas said, walking away means you're avoiding fights and disagreements. Okay, so that brings us to the end of our lesson today. Please don't forget your role play next class, and I need the papers with the conflict and resolution before class ends. Thank you.